Hi, this is Hank reporting from Kyiv, and this is my update on Russian-Ukrainian war. Let's see what happened around Ukraine in the last 24 hours. A Kiss for Zelenskyy. $61 billion damage. Okay, the whole planet has probably already seen this video. I won't say anything new, but I'll share my opinion. I think this is the most heartwarming thing I've seen lately. Of course, we will not compare with the situation at a funeral or with the release of hostages from Russian prison on the last day of May. It's just that out of general flow of news related to Ukraine, this was the most touching for me. The whole world honors the people who went through D-Day. This is a point in world history that changed the future and largely determined the course of the war. If the events of D-Day had simply not happened, the world today would be different. The same thing is happening now in Ukraine. Of course, I will connect these events. Imagine that Mariupol would not have held the defense for 86 days against a huge group of Russian troops, but would have simply surrendered and tens of thousands of Russians would have gone to other sectors of front. And perhaps we would have lost another big city or a regional center or 100,000 soldiers. I'm sure that people who understand the art of war and world history know how important this is, the event of one single day. Remember the ancient legend that the blacksmith did not shoe the horse. Because of this, the message was not delivered. Because of this undelivered message, the battle was lost. Because of the lost battle, the war was lost. I express great respect to this veteran, not because he wanted to kiss the president's hand, but because in his old age he understands the importance of defending freedom and how much depends on how Ukraine stands. There is no cult of Zelenskyy here, only respect for the person who is fighting. By the way, in Ukraine there is no such worship of the president as, for example, in Russia. We do not consider Zelenskyy a deity or a master. This is a manager of our country, and we monitor how he copes with his responsibilities. When he fails, we have every right to criticize him. I want to say it out loud and for people to hear. When I talked to the German guy on the street, he spoke more quietly so that no one would hear about mention of Zelenskyy. He is sure that if we say something against the authorities, we will be immediately arrested, but I assure you that in terms of freedom of speech, Ukraine is one of the freest countries in the world. I've been photographing for almost 20 years and I've never once felt like I wasn't allowed to photograph or say anything. Yes, some things are simply inappropriate, but this is not a ban of freedom of speech. Some people, on the contrary, say too much that should not be expressed. This is my personal opinion as a resident of Ukraine and as a photojournalist. I found this information in the context of news about the upcoming event, Ukraine Recovery Conference, which will be held in Germany next week on June 11 and 12 in Berlin. The link to the event will be under this video. Theoretically, one can calculate how much money will be spent on equipment, personnel, resources, and time during which it is possible to raise 1,000 young dolphins. But from a moral point of view, I also raise this question as a person who really doesn't understand how to assess the damage done to me personally. 7 of my cats were burned alive in my apartment in Mariupol. I'm wondering how this pain can be alleviated. How would you, who watched this video, rate the life of your favorite animal, or a loved person, or your room with things from your childhood that cannot be replaced by anything? This is a strange question because I can't evaluate this in any way. The value of life, memories, emotions, time, I cannot replace this with any money. $1,000 per cat. Will this money dull my pain or distract me? I don't know how to get rid of these feelings. If you have any understanding, then write. I'm really curious. So 61 billion, is this theoretical money enough to smooth out the pain and suffering of the animal world? Will rare animal species understand that they died for a reason? This is an abstract and rhetorical question. I can only say one thing for sure. Russia must be punished in an international court. They must pay for these crimes, if that word is even appropriate here. This will be a short video for June 6 because I had no electricity due to Russian attacks on our electrical facilities and I had to spend the whole day in hospitals, also indirectly due to Russian aggression in Ukraine. I'm sure someone will say that I simply blame Russia for all my troubles, but I understand the important logical sequence. It looks like this. Russia starts a war and invades Ukraine. Millions of people leave their homes in horror. We run to God knows where to not sleep at night and hide from missiles. Some die, others try to build a new life from scratch in a foreign country. This is all enormous stress. We all aged 10 years in these 2 years. We're all mentally crippled, and I don't know if we will be able to recover someday. If I could live in peace, photograph events or concerts in Kyiv, and on weekends go by train to Mariupol, and once a season fly to Europe as a tourist, then that would be wonderful, and I wouldn't even think about making a video on YouTube about how cruel Russia is. Help us preserve and restore life in our country. We want to be good neighbors and build the future. To do this, we need to survive the war and win. This was my update about the Russian-Ukrainian war for day number 834. Take care and see you tomorrow.